Mobile water, unique in every way.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Citi Prime News. The news is live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. I am Inosafo. Coming up, Ghana Private Road Transport Union threatened nationwide strike over one Ghana Citi fuel levy.
In the event that our call is not heeded to, we will be compelled to take industrial action and park our vehicles on June 10th, 2025.
Also coming up, government launches 2025 national tree planting exercise with plans to ban the use of wood for monodesks in schools and the use of styrofoam in food packaging.
One of the other things we intend to do is to ban styrofoam as a food packaging material. One of the most pernicious polluters is styrofoam plastic.
Still ahead, Ghana registered nurses and midwives defy NLC order to resume work. Strike enters day 2 as patients across the country remain stranded.
Fortunately for us here, all our special clinics are run by nurses and they've all stopped work as at yesterday. We are not interested in going on strike. All we want is the implementation of our conditions of service.
And later, Ghana to receive Mpox vaccines to complement disease outbreak in the country.
We are engaging WHO and Africa CDC so that we get the vaccines. Somewhere last year, Ghana didn't have any established human transmission, so we do not qualify.
This bulletin is also live across our partner stations in the Western region. You're listening to us on Beach 105.5 FM and Sky Power 93.5 FM, both in Takoradi. In the Bono region, we're live on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, Adrimpa 99.9 FM in Inkarie. In the Volta region, we're live on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi, Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakope. In the northern region, you're listening to us on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In the upper east, we're live on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the northeast region, we're live on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalarugu. Across the globe, we're live on citinewsroom.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for choosing us this hour. Let's settle for the details of our stories. Commercial transport operators are threatening a nationwide strike on Tuesday, June 10, in protest against the one city levy on petroleum products. According to the group, the levy approved by Parliament will impose severe hardship on commercial drivers. At a press conference in Accra, Industrial Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Abbas Ibrahim Imoro, demanded an immediate reversal of the policy and called for further engagement with government.
We are therefore calling on government to reverse the levy immediately and engage us on major stakeholders on the way forward. In the event that our call is not heeded to, we will be compelled to take industrial action and park our vehicles on June 10th, 2025. We urge the government to consider the impact of the levy on the transport sector and the consequences of our action on the economy and engage us on meaningful deliberations to help address challenges in the energy sector. We thank you very much and we are hopeful they will listen to us and act accordingly.
You heard Industrial Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Abbas Ibrahim Imoro. The National Coordinator for the District Road Improvement Program, Ni Lante Vanderpoy, has urged Ghanaians to accept the recently introduced fuel levy as a necessary sacrifice to help prevent a potential power crisis in the coming weeks. Speaking on Channel 1 TV's Breakfast Daily Show, Vanderpoy argued that the levy comes at a time when global fuel prices have dropped.
This is a time when we're asking Ghanaians to make sacrifices of a city to be able to keep the power on. If we don't, and we say, well, let's continue in the merrymaking, let's continue enjoying the benefit of the prudent economic measures that have ensured that the cost of fuel has come down, and we don't behave like the ant to prepare for tomorrow, but want to be like the grasshopper, what will happen is that in the next few days or weeks, in the midst of our enjoyment, we'll be hit by the reality of doomsor. So this is a government who says that in this period, when things are good, when we are making savings, it is better for us to store so that we can meet the demands of tomorrow. I think the government is being very intelligent in the way to manage the difficulties we have, the challenges we have.
You heard the National Coordinator for the District Road Improvement Program, Ni Lante Vanderpoy. Meanwhile, the New Patriotic Party's 2024 parliamentary candidate for Adenta, Akosua Menu, criticized the move, stating that the National Democratic Congress had previously opposed the e-levy and tarnished Ghana's image internationally, only to introduce a similar tax on petroleum products.
The double standards therein is that you cannot actually paint a particular government evil after an introduction of a tax, especially when there were severe challenges. What was even worse was how they delayed the passage of that e-levy and made Ghana look horrible in the eyes of the general public, of the global public, if I should say so. We had parliamentarians literally engaging in fisticuffs, and we all discussed here. It was played across. Look, even I remember when e-levy was passed. That day was a weekend of the president's birthday and Black Stars qualifying, and I was saying congratulations for the passage, not because I wanted to see a tax introduced, but because of the indignity of what we had gone through and seen. But here we are today, I didn't catch it. That thing had nothing to do with the government.
That was the 2024 New Patriotic Party parliamentary candidate for Adenta, Akosua Menu. Away from that, the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons is urging transport operators to remain vigilant, warning that arms and explosives could be secretly transported by unsuspecting individuals. The caution was issued during a training session for transport operators aimed at equipping them with the skills to detect, prevent, and report suspicious items. Speaking to the media, Acting Executive Secretary of the Commission, Dr. Adam Bonner, called on operators to ensure that all passengers declare the contents of their luggage before boarding.
Sometimes buses collide and you go and the two buses, both of them are bent. And you ask yourself what happened. It's because some of these buses are innocently carrying explosives. And so the moment there is fire or there is trigger, there's a chain of explosions. You go and everybody is dead. And you hear the villagers say, oh, we had explosions. And, a chain of explosions and, call it secondary explosions. So our work here today is to train them so that they are in line with the research agenda the president is fashioning out. Fuel prices have reduced. And so it tells you that those who couldn't travel in the past can now travel. It means more people are going to be traveling than it used to be yesterday because fuel prices are dropping. The transporters are reducing fares by 15%, and some are even doing more. And so our mandate is to ensure that we train these people so that they are their owners.
Acting Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Dr. Adam Bonner. Government has launched a 2025 national tree planting exercise as part of efforts to restore the country's forest cover and combat climate change. The campaign, according to government, aims to plant 30 million trees across the country. Marking World Environment Day in Accra, President John Dramani Mahama pledged to lead efforts to restore degraded ecosystems.
These are trees that will stabilize our soils, trees that will cool our cities, and trees that will absorb carbon dioxide and restore our degraded ecosystems. More importantly, each tree will serve as a lesson in responsibility, sustainability, and civic pride. This new initiative builds on the foundation of the Tree for Life afforestation program, which I launched in March this year in Nkawie in the Ashanti region. That program targets the restoration of at least 7 million hectares of degraded land and the planting of millions of trees nationwide. As part of our national efforts, I'm pleased to formally announce the commencement of the 2025 National Tree Planting Exercise, which begins today, June 5th, and will continue through till June 30th. Our target is to plant 30 million trees across the country during this period.
The government also served notice of plans to ban the use of wood for monodesks in schools as a measure to reduce the felling of trees. The president further disclosed government's resolve to ban the use of styrofoam as food packaging material in the country.
This fight is very important in order that we can hand over a good environment to our younger brothers and sisters and our children who are yet unborn. One of the other things we intend to do is to ban styrofoam as a food packaging material. One of the most pernicious polluters is styrofoam plastic. When you go to buy your food and they put it in that white plastic something, and then you finish eating, you just dump it. That is one of the biggest polluters. And so we're going to ban the importation of styrofoam plastics. We have to use paper packaging or aluminum foil for packaging our food. And so I'm informing the manufacturers and importers of styrofoam with the Ministry of Environment. Soon we're going to ban the importation of styrofoam and production of styrofoam in Ghana. Our food packaging will be made from paper and also from aluminum material.
President John Dramani Mahama there. Now, the Ghana Health Service says it is in talks with the World Health Organization and the Africa CDC for access to Mpox vaccines. The country has so far recorded 45 cases of Mpox across 9 regions, with 2 patients currently on admission. 10 of the confirmed cases are children. In an interview with Citi News, Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bakwin, said the service will continue managing the situation as discussions for vaccine supply progress.
I remember the last outbreak that we had. Though we had 120 cases, we struggled to clearly establish an at-risk group. If you don't get a clear at-risk group, then your intervention may not be effective. So for this outbreak, we are as far as possible, we are investigating to be very established that this is the at-risk group, and then we engage them to make sure that it's done. So I'll say it's work in progress. We are engaging WHO and Africa CDC so that we get the vaccines. Somewhere last year, Ghana didn't have any established human-to-human transmission, so we did not qualify. Now that we are having human-to-human transmission, the idea is that we need to be able to identify the clear at-risk group who will benefit.
Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bakwin is Director for Public Health at the Ghana Health Service. This is still the City Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Still to come, Ghana registered nurses and midwives defy NLC order to resume work. Strike enters day 2 as patients across the country remain stranded. Do stay.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel One TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agriculture exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery? This is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, Development Bank Ghana, and Agri Impact Limited.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. Head of Finance at Merban Capital Limited, Nelson Kujo Kwagbeji, says President Mahama's projection of the cedi stabilizing between 10 and 12 cedis to a dollar could trigger speculation and hoarding of foreign currency. President Mahama had earlier assured exporters that the cedi would stabilize within that range by the end of the year. But speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Mr. Kwagbeji said while the assurance may have been well-intentioned, such projections are not advisable in a volatile currency environment.
The governor failed to give us a target rate. One, because they are trying to minimize speculation in the market. Because if you say at the end of the year, we are expecting the dollar to be trading at 13 Ghana cedis and currently it's at 11 Ghana cedis, then those who are having the hard currency will keep them in anticipation that by close of the year, the dollar will be trading at 13 Ghana cedis. It would have been better if they leave it open for market forces to actually determine the real value of the cedi. In fact, the president also made a comment that was so significant that when we allow the cedi to appreciate excessively, it's going to affect our export revenue, which means that they, as a government, they have a specific eye on a specific band. The governor couldn't mention it, but the president said 10 to 12 Ghana cedis. And as I said, from where I sit and from all the indications that are available to us, even on the market, I don't foresee the cedi going above 12 Ghana cedis by close of the year. So I think the president just mentioned that, and that is going to spark speculation.
Nelson Kwagbeji, however, describes the 10 to 12 cedi band as a well-calculated strategy by the government to reduce the cost of its external debts. He's, however, urging the government to begin honoring its external debt obligations to boost investor confidence.
When your cedi appreciates, the external component of your debt will reduce significantly in cedi terms. And so if energy sector debt is about $3.1 billion that we are supposed to pay in dollars, as at the end of March, what was the depreciation of the cedi as at the end of March? But as we are talking today, the cedi appreciated well over 20%. So clearly, it means that they have a target rate that they want to settle on. And they also feel within that target rate, they can comfortably proceed to start paying their debt. So I think it's a well-calculated strategy by the government. And so they are clearly trying to intervene in one way or the other in order to settle the exchange rate within a band. And that band will be comfortable for the government based on their own cash flow projection in order to start paying their debt. And I think this is the moment that government has to start paying.
Mr. Kwagbeji said the president's pronouncement effectively rules out any possibility of a single-digit exchange rate.
Then I think it will be based on the simulation that they have done. The last I made mention that as it stands now, government is embarking on a contractionary fiscal policy. They are actually not spending. And most of the expenditures that they are supposed to do are also in dollars. The last time we heard the finance minister, he made mention of the fact that the payables will come under audit. So once the audit is done, is certified, the figures are verified, they will start paying. And once they start paying, of course, some of the contractors will also convert their payment into dollars. And some of the payment may also be made in dollars. And so that may also significantly reduce the reserve that we have, especially when it's about paying, servicing our debt. So once government start paying, the appreciation of the cedi, it will reverse. It will reverse, but it will not be that significant. It won't be that significant to impact on anything.
That was the head of finance for Merban Capital Limited, Nelson Kujo Kwagbeji. Let's move away from that. Now, the Ablekuma Central Municipal Assembly, led by Chief Executive Frank Nkansa, has launched a decongestion exercise aimed at addressing sanitation challenges in the municipality. The move comes in response to growing concerns from residents over indiscriminate vehicular parking and the encroachment of pedestrian walkways by mechanics. Targeted areas include Mataheko, Kaneshi and Latabia-Koshe. My colleague Fauzu Masaudu is with the team and joins us for more. Fauzu, give us highlights from the decongestion exercise today.
Hello, Eno.
Yes, Fauzu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I lost you briefly.
I was asking for you to give us highlights of today's decongestion exercise.
Okay, so the exercise, the electoral areas within the Ablekuma Central municipality are actually 7, but today's phase, I'm told, will target at least 3 or 4 of these electoral areas. And the municipal chief executive has mentioned that it's going to be an exercise in continuity. Some of the areas we have visited so far include Matahiko, Lasebio-Koshi, and then we are yet to move to Kanishi as well. Now, the focus of the exercise is primarily to clear or make way for sanity in the municipality. We know that the municipality has a lot of, number of sanitary challenges, and the municipal chief executive and the assembly as a whole have attributed some of these challenges to the indiscriminate parking of broken down vehicles and the encroachment of pedestrian walkways and other unauthorized parts of the roads by a number of the mechanics on this stretch. The municipal chief executive, that's Frank Nkansa, also, lamented how some of these, unauthorized encroachments or parkways by these mechanics have become a breeding ground for refuse and what have you. When they cleared some of the vehicles, the broken down vehicles, there were heaps of refuse under them, some human excreta and whatnot. So this has been the focus really for today's exercise, which happens to be a launch of a broader initiative to tackle issues of sanitation in the Ablekuma Central municipality.
Right. Is there a sanction for offenders of these measures?
Yes. So the municipal chief executive mentioned that there are some sanctions in place, and one of them includes a spot fine. So once your vehicle is clamped down or is impounded, you are required to pay a spot fine of at least 700 cedis, and it's actually within a range of 700 to 1,005 cedis because they say they are working with some of these vehicle towing companies and they need to settle them financially. Also, those who are not found on spot will be processed for court, as in for further legal action. So it's a number of sanctions really put in place for persons who are found culpable.
Thank you very much for that update. Fauzu Masaudu is with Ablekuma Central Municipal Assembly, who have launched a decongestion exercise aimed at addressing sanitation challenges in the municipality. Let's now listen to the Municipal Chief Executive for Ablekuma Central, Frank Nkansa.
Just messed up. And today we have to clear this space, and we are now realizing that not only were they using the place for rubbish dump, but then they're also using the place as toilet as well. And that is not helping us. So we want to ensure that we continue this exercise and make most of the residents very happy as well. Doing spot fines. So some have, they knew we would be coming. They only thought that we were joking, so they were not ready for it. They were testing us to see. So some have actually placed their ties, as we are seeing the one we have just clamped. So those ones, we are giving them spot fines. And then the other ones, we move them to our office and they come there for penalties. And we are also looking at enforcing the law by going to court to be able to get clearance on some of the vehicles. Because the ones that they don't come, we will later on, our legal team will look at all possibilities that we can use to also put penalties on them as well. They are taking 700 on the spot.
You heard Municipal Chief Executive for Ablekuma Central, Frank Nkansa. Now, the Independent Power Generators Ghana has backed the government's introduction of a one-city energy sector levy, describing it as a pragmatic step to rescue the country's struggling power sector. In a statement, the group said the levy is a necessary intervention to halt the rising debt threatening the viability of Ghana's electricity supply chain. It blamed years of financial mismanagement, particularly the misuse of previous energy levies, bond proceeds and loans, for leaving power producers unable to recover costs, service assets, or sustain reliable fuel supply. The group is urging Ghanaians to support the initiative, warning that failure to act could result in blackouts, job losses, and reduced national productivity. The Court of Appeal has acquitted and discharged Yao Asante-Agyekuma, who was sentenced to 35 years in prison in 2002 alongside notorious armed robber Atai, who received a 160-year sentence. Agyekuma, who served 23 years behind bars, was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and alleged to be a mechanic for Atai's gang, which terrorized parts of Accra and in the late 1990s and early 2000s. While Atai and his crew were convicted for multiple counts of armed robbery, Agyekuma appealed his sentence, with his lawyers arguing that the prosecution failed to link him to any of the crimes. The Court of Appeal, in a unanimous decision, agreed. The three-member panel, Justices Abuaje Tano, Stephen Opong, and Janpari Patel-Skudjo, ruled that the prosecution had not presented sufficient evidence to justify his conviction and sentence. Agyekuma had no legal representation during his original trial. Meanwhile, Yao Asante-Agyekuma, after the acquittal, recounted the circumstances leading to his conviction and the impact on him.
I knew Atai because I was his mechanic, but I had no idea he was involved in armed robbery. I was arrested while in church. I told the police I had nothing to do with it, but they didn't believe me. I was convicted and sentenced to 30 years in prison, even though I was innocent. I lost everything, my shop, and precious time with my two children. My only crime was being his mechanic. I kept praying to God for the truth to be revealed, and finally, that day has come. I'm deeply grateful to Justice Bafo Boni for being fair and acquitting me after the evidence proved I was not part of the robbery.
You heard the voice of Yao Agyekuma, who has been acquitted and discharged after his sentence in 2002 alongside notorious armed robber Atai. Now, healthcare delivery in the Tripoli districts of the Northeast region has been severely affected by the ongoing strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. The industrial action is in protest of what the association describes as government's continued delay in implementing the agreed conditions of service. At the Tripoli District Hospital, the outpatient department has been closed to patients, disrupting access to essential medical care. Some patients who visited the hospital are appealing to the government to address the concerns of the nurses. Meanwhile, Secretary of the Nurses Association at the Tripoli District Hospital, Ibrahim Nasama, says the strike will continue until their demands are met.
I come to Tripoli Government Hospital for treatment, and as I came, the nurses are on strike. So I am appealing to government to do the needful for them to come back, because a lot of people are here seeking for medical care. But because of the strike, we are sitting down, we don't know how to do. So we are appealing for the government to do as well as possible to settle down whatever is needful for them so that they can come back and save our life for us.
I was not feeling well. I came to the hospital for treatment. When I got here, they are saying that the nurses are on strike. I'm pleading on the government so that they may come back to work.
You hear the Secretary of the Nurses Association at the Tripoli District Hospital, Ibrahim Nassama, and a patient as well later on. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association says it is yet to receive any official communication from the Labour Commission regarding calls to suspend its ongoing strike. This follows a directive by the National Labour Commission on Tuesday, June 4, ordering the association to immediately call off the industrial action and return to work, describing the strike as illegal. However, the Assistant Public Relations Officer of the association, Philemon Japon, says they have not been formally notified of the Commission's directive. Well, that's how we end the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka, Accra. Do log on to our website, citinewsroom.com, for more news. My name is Enusa for many thanks for joining us.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.